This is Grooving in G, and welcome back to my tutorial series on TwistedWave. Today I'm going to be talking about selection-based processing and a little bit on recording and just generally my kind of workflow when I'm using TwistedWave and why I love it so much. So let's get right into it. I've got a sample here that I'm dragging from another window, but one thing you've noticed is you can just drag audio straight onto TwistedWave and it'll open up a new window for you. So it's quite quick and easy. You can come in your Finder. If you have some audio, you can just click and drag it onto an open window in TwistedWave to open it. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, I've got two windows open, and this is how I work a lot in TwistedWave. And what I like to do is to use this tab to transient feature and to find, say, this is like a nice road sample I've got, I think from a sample pack somewhere. And I will tab to transient, and then I will put markers down. I'm clicking around and using tab, and then I'm pressing M to create a marker, and then I can double click in this selection, because you can double click. If you put markers down, you can double click in any of the areas in between two marker points. And then I'm copying this, I'm going to this blank window and I'm pasting it in, and so now I've got this individual slice I've got in here, and I can kind of more freely process it out of the way, and I'll show you why I do this. So one of the things you will notice when you process in TwistedWave is that you will have a bit of, if I go and just start applying, if I go apply, let's go apply last effect, and if I just apply and close, and if I go and change the pitch and speed and apply this, what you can see here is that the front is getting kind of messed up because you've got a bit of plug-in latency, I think, with some of the effects and how they work inside this program. So to get around that, what I will do is take a kind of silent section from the end, and then I'm using the home hotkey to go to the beginning. I think you can use Alt, left and right as well, will take you to the beginning and end. And I'm just pasting this empty bit in the beginning, but I've still got this marker point, so I can still select this. And as you can see from the selection length, this is still exactly the same size as the chunk I took away, but now I can process it with this bit of silence at the front. Okay, so let's select this, and then let's go change pitch and speed. Let's just go and make it 200 cents less. Apply. Okay, so this is the original, and TwistedWave has an amazing time and pitch algorithm, so that's one reason definitely to use it. It sounds incredible. So I can now come here, go to my recent effects. I could apply this bit of EQ, removing some of the bottom end, and if I just cleaning up the sample a little bit, I could then normalize it to bring it back up in level. I could potentially come and do a bit of, say, Sketch Cassette, which is like a tape saturation warbling kind of program. And I've got, what am I in? I think that's okay. It's taking a bit of the high end off here. It's a really good program. This is quite cheap. It's only about £20, so good one to get. And I could apply that. So then it's so simple. I can just double click in this area, and you can see the selection length is the same, and then I can come down and paste it back in. And now I've got this slice of the sample which I've completely changed. Now you could do this for all the slices, you can do this for drum breaks and all kinds of stuff. I'm just showing you just the basic function and how this works, and it can really open the doors for you. Now because this sample, right, if I actually saved this, it would save directly over the original sample. So I've either got to go and select this file, and I can go new file with selection, to open it into a new window, or I can actually just create a new window, Command N, and paste it in, is the way I think is just as easy. And then I can get rid of this, so I don't want to save over the original sample. And another thing I want to show you is with this program, if you want to use something like a reverb, you're going to extend the tail of the sample. So another trick is to create some space at the end of the sample, and then to process, say you process this bit. If you want to use a reverb inside of TwistedWave, you can come, and if I use Valhalla Shimmer, let's put it in the stereo, just roughly. Okay. But you see, the problem is that because I just clipped here, it's going to cut the reverb there. So what I've got to do is actually select more, and then I can go apply last effect, and now you can see the reverb is running a lot longer than the original sample stopped at here. And I've got this reverb tail. So, I can then, and that's got some kind of cool pitch warbling movement. I could then take this sample and put this back in. And you can really start to mess up and just change around with audio. And I love doing this with records I've cut from the internet, because you're always worried about sampling, and you don't want to just steal someone else's work or get flagged, and so you're always looking to change it. And one of the really good place to change it is when you first hear it, just to bring it into TwistedWave and just to mess around with different chops of it. Yeah, one of the reasons I love this workflow and using TwistedWave so much is that I'm not having to open Logic and get to a new project and go through that way just to work on one little bit of audio that maybe I just want to normalize, or I just want to do a quick edit to. And because TwistedWave is destructive, you can save over the original files. So if I drag a sample like this piano in, if I normalize this now, it's actually, even though it's only not added maybe like a tiny bit of gain there, and I save it, it's actually saving over the original files. So I can work on the original files that are in my projects, and I find that really, really handy to have just a program that works destructively like that. So that's all for me today on selection-based processing. I've got another really interesting tutorial coming up with TwistedWave I'm going to do next week, which is more focused on how I use it for recording all my hardware gear. And I've got lots of pedals, and I've got an analog heap by Electron, and I use TwistedWave to capture, when I'm editing samples, I use TwistedWave to capture a lot of these pedals, this analog gear, rather than always running it through Logic. So I will get into that and show you kind of the true power of this program in the tutorial coming up next week. But thanks for listening, and hope you guys enjoyed this one today.